Another true story from Scott's Spirit. I must have been about 6 or 7 years old. I wasn't very well at the time. I suffered a lot with tonsillitis as a child. I remember resting one day in my mum's bed with a temperature and sore throat, but I was overcome with this feeling that I wasn't alone in the room. It wasn't my mum, she was downstairs. And I can honestly say it was the type of feeling that was starting to become rather regular. So, if you can imagine, I'm lying there in bed, I'm feeling this presence in the room. I lift my head up a bit to take a look around, and I'm thinking, there's something there. Now I was expecting to see something straight away, but the room was quite bright. It was the daytime. Lots of bright light was shining in, even though the curtains were drawn. As I was peering around the room from the bed, I almost saw some type of shadow swirling round, but I also got the feeling it didn't want me to see it. For about a minute or so I watched it, then thought to myself, if it wants me to see it, I'm sure it'll show itself more. So I rested my head back down on the pillow. I was drained and not feeling well, but the energy was still there. I could tell even though I wasn't looking at it. It's as if it was statically charged. A minute later, I looked up again. I could see the same swirling energy. Now I knew this was something different. So I asked it, "Who are you? What do you want?" As I finished the word want, I felt a force push my head back onto the pillow. It felt like a hand pushing against my forehead. I quickly put my head up again and thought, what was that? At that moment it pushed me again, but this time with more force. Except this time it kept me there. I couldn't move. I kept trying to get up, but I just couldn't move. It wasn't letting me. At this moment, the mist that was in the centre of the room was now right in front of me. It had no outline, but it did have a bodily shape, and it was slightly grey. I was pushing against it, trying to either lift my head up or preferably get up, but no matter how hard I pushed, how much energy I put into it, it just wouldn't let me get up. I was trying for about a minute, and it was now getting a bit scary. Then all of a sudden, I sprang up out of bed. Whatever had me there had let me go. But it wasn't finished with me yet. I jumped out of bed and ran to the door, which was shut. There was a big wardrobe near the door, so as you opened the door, you had to kind of shimmy to the left as you opened the door. I put my hand on the handle and automatically did the shimmy to the left, expecting the door to open. But at that moment, something pushed me against the wall. Initially by my neck, but then all my body felt pushed and stuck against the wall. I knew this wasn't a dream because I was awake and standing up, trying to get away from whatever this was. I tried moving my arms. I couldn't. I tried lifting a foot. I couldn't. By this time, this was pushing against me significantly. It did not want me to leave. At which point I started to growl with the amount of energy I was putting into pushing against this thing. I remember growling for about 4 or 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden it let me go, to which I was able to open the door and run out. I remember bolting down the stairs and running into the kitchen to give my mum a hug. She said, "What's up with you? You look like you've seen a ghost." I tried telling her a little about what happened, but you know mums, basically dismissing it all. "Oh, you've had a dream." I knew it wasn't a dream. I decided to make a bed downstairs on the sofa after this. Now, many of you are probably thinking, that's the end of that. Not at all. The next day, exactly the same thing happened again. The only difference this time was I had the experience of the first time with me. Still unwell with tonsillitis, I was there again in the bed. The swirling energy showed up. The same struggle on the bed. It pinned me to the bed first. I fought, it let me up, got to the door, and it pinned me again by the door. Except this time, it wasn't me growling. It was a deep, guttural growl that sounded like it had power and meant business. But I still pushed against it and broke free of its hold on me. But this time, when I got out the room, I made sure the door was wide open, and I didn't run. I walked and looked back as I did. I could see the swirling mist there in the room. I was a lot calmer than on the first occurrence, and even walked down the stairs thinking it wasn't as bad as the first time. But even as I'm going down the stairs, I'm sure I could hear it almost give this almost in a demonic kind of way. Ever since this occurrence happened, I'd regularly have a negative energy in my bedroom, and it would grab my toes, grab my feet, pull me down the bed. And then as I grew up, grew stronger and more confident, one night I dealt with it, and I jumped out of bed, and at the top of my voice I told it where to go. I never saw it again after that night. Thanks for watching. My name's Scott Spirit. If you'd like a psychic or a tarot reading, come and see me at timepsychics.com. If you can support me on Patreon, that would be excellent and really appreciated. And on a final note, I'll say to you, may the good spirits be with you and guide you on your journey and take you under their wings when you do so need. All the best. Take care.